started, again, I want to thank you for being here. I know your time is very valuable. And to conduct the remainder of the meeting, I'd like to bring up a very special individual. This individual is a family man. Please find your seat. Hurry up, sir. He's a family man. He's been committed to the excellence of Toastmasters as well as on our behalf. So please help us welcome our president, Jesse Alvarado.
All right, Mr. Ross, thank you very much. Thank you for the awesome introduction.
I can do a speech. You want me to?
Okay, yeah, okay, great. We'll have one more speech.
One more speech.
All right.
All right. Well, that's Mr. Elmer, right?
Yes.
All right. So you requested some competition, so now you got some. Okay.
Oh my God, this is
Ask and you shall receive.
So put on the gloves.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being here and committed to a club. It's greatly appreciated. And with that being said, we're going to get started. And we're going to, for invocation, we're going to call. I will call Bobby, but he's not here. Anyone else would like to do the invocation?
Our pastor.
Yeah.
Okay, for our invocation, we're going to call Beatrice Yuli.
All right. Join your hands and bow your heads, if you please. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this gathering here, Lord. We are here, Lord Jesus, because of your plan and purpose in our lives. Sharpen our talents, Lord. Strengthen our memories, Lord. And help us, Lord, to face this world and go out and perform, Lord, in your accordance. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. We're going to call Buzz someone to sing it.
Please place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. You may be seated. Am I the only one who has two hands? So I can clap?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. With that being said, now, what I'd like to call our Toastmaster of the day.
The one and only.
This person has brought a lot of value to a club.
Yes.
He has worked on himself. He has developed so much that he can definitely, I can see an improvement. She can.
She. No.
She. He has grown so much. Karina, you like me to call you something else?
She would be better.
All right, let's give it up for Karina. All right, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters.
Good afternoon.
And this is Korea.
Yes.
So I'm Toastmaster of the day. Let's start by our mission statement first.
All right.
May I have Alma to with the mission statement?
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual members the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you.
All right, good job.
Now let's go to the purpose of this. One of the purpose of this meeting is to practice our speech, how to speak in front of an audience. And then we will have people to help us to keep track of the way we speak in public. So there will be an hour counter, will be a grammarian, and there will be a person to keep track of the time.
Yes.
And then we will have a final vote to see which one is better than the other one. For today, the person to keep track of the hour counter is the one and only Mr. Roy Fisher.
I will be diligently, as much as I can, distract myself from what it is that you have to say, watching how you say it. and especially with space fillers, like repeated words, those kind of things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got it, all right, give it back to Lloyd.
As far as the grammarian, the person will also select the word of the day. He will explain a little bit more when he,
No.
yeah, that would be Adolfo.
Ah,
The
okay.
grammarian.
Be the grammarian, and I will give a report again of the meeting during the general evaluator role, and also as a grammarian, I have selected the word sapient. Word of the day, sapient. Sapient.
Sapient?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Sapient or
Well,
sapient?
now I will ask Roy
Roy.
approval.
Master,
I have no idea.
homo
Sapient.
sapient.
Sapient. It means this wise and discerning. The speaker enjoy a sapient audience.
Sapient.
Speaker, enjoy the second.
It's kind of funny, huh? It's wise and it's discerning.
Discerning.
Yeah.
Discerning, that means
Discerning.
not,
Wise, discerning.
Wise. Discerning.
You need to
is
be
like-
sapient to understand.
but it's discerning to not to understand what's.
Yeah. So like it says on the list, the sapient, the speaker enjoy a sapient audience.
Sapient.
So that remember needs to be used during the table topics.
All right, good
The
job.
other thing to remember about these neat words is if you're not 100% sure of what a word means and what the other uses of the word might be, never use it.
Okay.
Because you're liable to say it to somebody who really knows what it means and not really like what you said.
Now, how would you explain discerning?
Discerning, how would I?
Mhm.
I would just say a discerning person is someone who is able to make subtle differences, wise evaluations, very discerning, wise person who can understand what you're trying to say, can evaluate what's happening.
I think it goes in
Kind of
line with wise, like
And
being shrewd.
Smart or?
Being shrewd and shrewd in your judgment.
Okay.
We
Everybody
just-
got that?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Roy, good job.
Thank you.
Yes,
Adolfo.
all right.
What I've never used.
Now, we need somebody to keep track of the speakers.
Yes.
There's a time limit on the speeches, so it won't go a whole day long. And the person to keep track of this is Jesse.
Yes, let me get the,
I'm gonna want to move over?
no, let's go. Okay, I'm in charge of monitor the timing.
Yeah.
For speeches, for speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The green light will turn on 5 minutes, yellow light is 6 minutes, and red light 7 minutes, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Evaluations will turn on at 2 minutes, the yellow light 2.5, and red at 3 minutes. You have 30 seconds to wrap up. Table topics, green light will turn on at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1.5 minutes, and the red light will turn on at 2 minutes, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Thank you,
Alright, thank
Jesse.
you very much.
The speaker should be able to see that. Though. When we are speaking, we should be able to see that.
See the light,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you think it'll be inconvenience if we sit here, or maybe out there? So
I
it's
think
like-
there's better. huh?
Okay, when you guys
Because it's
ready,
easy.
I'll go out there.
And then since we have two speakers today, or three?
Yes.
Two. By the end of the day, there will be a vote for the better speaker. And the person to keep track of this vote is Adolfo.
Oh, no, rigging the
Now, I will use this basket to collect the votes that you write here, as you know. However, don't forget to also use this first portion here for the speakers, where you can write comments to them, and it can be for the
I thought I was going to sign it.
can be for the two speakers, but also it can be for the table topics speakers, and it can be for the evaluator speakers too. Right? Thank you.
All right, you got it.
I can't look at Beatrice today, because every time I look at her, she's laughing.
Why is this a laugh? That's a joke.
So that should be it for me, right? And then I should introduce Elma, is it? Or,
No, this is,
The evaluators will introduce us.
So now,
Just,
so what should I do now?
ask the evaluator. My evaluator is Vaz, so Vaz will introduce me. Vaz.
Do we,
So you have to say that. Because now comes to the...
Who's
it comes
the-
to
who's the
conduct
second evaluator?
introduction table topic master, isn't it? That's an exception.
No, you're gonna,
So
We
I'm
have this- we
going
have-
to talk about,
See, Toastmaster introduce evaluators and speakers. So
oh, okay.
Yeah.
and then you call,
And the evaluators, oh,
yeah,
okay.
you call Beatrice, but
Vaz.
I should call Vas now.
He's my evaluator, so he'll introduce me.
So, okay.
Right?
I don't need to introduce the speakers, do I?
No.
No.
Because
Only at the end.
Let's introduce the evaluators for today. They are Vas and who else? And Bobby.
Yeah, so I'll be the evaluator.
Okay, so Vas, will you please give us
Do I
a
come up?
brief explanation how you evaluate the speech?
Today, ladies and
And you'll
gentlemen.
be evaluating Beatrice.
Yes. Today I'll be evaluating Beatrice on her speech, my most embarrassing moment. She has more than one, so she'll be talking about the second one. And on this, the objective is to entertain the audience by relating a personal experience, organized and entertaining the speech for maximum impact. 5 to 7 minutes.
All
all right.
How about you, Adolfo?
Now,
You'll be
Now.
evaluating Alma.
That's up.
Well,
That's after
she has to
me.
speak first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
So
without
you go
much
and speak.
ado.
Okay. Okay, with no further ado, let's
Invite to speak.
let's
Yeah.
speak
Yes.
with them, right?
I'm
Okay,
the project
let's
manager.
invite Beatrice, Yuli.
How many of you are ready to talk about your most embarrassing moments? Raise your hand.
Today, no.
Oh, you are ready?
Not ready.
Lovely audience. Okay, most of us are aware that our message has a total impact of, say, 7% verbal. 7% verbal, you must have heard about this before. 38% vocal, and 55% body language. So which brings me to my first embarrassing moment, the body language. This happened when my interview failed. So I called up the agency to find out what happened, and then they said, the guy felt that you avoided eye contact. So I said, but isn't it rude if you hold a gaze for more than a couple seconds? And she said, no, it's sneaky in this country. So now comes to my second embarrassing moment, which I can never erase from my mind. This happened at a parent-teacher meet, and this was my son's school, and I was there with all the other parents surrounding the teacher, filling up some forms. And then I made some mistakes. So I asked the gentleman in front of me, do you have a rubber? And he was like,
A rubber?
well, that's why I can't erase that from my mind. And then he said, excuse me? And all the other people, they all stopped, and I found them all looking at me. And I said, I made a mistake. I need to rub it off. And then the lady said,
Eraser.
oh, you mean erase? And that was, oh my goodness. So ever after that day, I had problems. Just talking became so difficult for me. At home, outside, I would use, for suspenders, I would say braces. For garters, I would say suspenders. Then for just something like a trash can, I would say dustbin. Then for gas, I would say petrol. Oh my goodness, the words were like Greek and Latin to some people. And another incident was I didn't show up for one of my Zumba classes. So she asked me, oh, why didn't you show up last time? And I said, oh, I didn't have conveyance. And then she says, does anyone know what she's saying? So there was a lady from Texas. She says, oh, she means she didn't get a ride. So this was my problem. And I felt I was developing something called glossophobia. I don't know if any of you heard that. But that's a fear of speaking in public. And then I didn't know I also, after this incident that happened, my husband loves the wilderness. So he took us out. He said, let's go to the woods. And I was so excited about it. I said, woods? That sounds like a comic book. I need to go there. So we went there and everything looked, because we were the only ones, it was during winter time. It was 4 o'clock, it started to get dark. And I was like, what? We are the only ones here? There's no one around here? And we, especially me, I'm of the impression that people in the US are all nuts. And you know why? It's because of the media. The movies that we see, whatever we are exposed to in India, appears like people are, you know, psycho or serial killers and something like that. So when I came here, I felt a spookiness, especially during the evening time when it got dark so early during 4 o'clock. And everything, all the houses were dim, the lights were all dim, and I was like, why? In Dubai, everything is, you know, bright and shiny. And look at this place, no wonder there are so many psychos hiding out there. That was my impression, and which I hid in me for a while. So while we were walking in these woods, I saw a man behind us, and I was telling my husband, let's run, let's run. I feel he's up to something. He must be having a dagger because of the movies I saw. But that guy just said, how you doing? I said, oh, he's talking to us. He's saying, how you doing? We are not used to that in India. You know, it's more formal and they're not so friendly. So that was my fear. And every time my husband traveled, I would make sure that I locked the doors and I could not step out of the house even to throw out the trash. I was so scared, terrified, and I felt that I had this anthrophobia, which is the fear of people. So not only there was fear of talking in public, there was fear of people too. Until my transformation happened, and all my fear was gone and replaced with the powerful spirit of boldness and no more fear. And how I knew I had no more fear was after this power had come to me about my, you know, transformation and everything that happened. There was a guy who was passing my house and he was a bald nut with full of tattoos. And what else can come to your mind when you see a guy like that, you know, tall, hefty, with all tattoos and wearing a vest on. Vest, do you call it? So, he was just passing by and I said, and he was looking at the trash can and there was no one at home. And I said, excuse me, are you looking for something to eat? And he's like, you talking to me? And I was like, yeah, do you want something to eat? I have food at home. And he said, oh no, don't bother. So I said, oh, well, the Lord asked me to talk to you. Are you serious? And he came right walking up to me. What did the Lord say? Come on, raise your hands and show me. And I don't know, I just showed him so much of love. And ever after that day, I'm a free, born again person, ready for any woods. Toastmaster.
All right. All right.
The title,
Believe it or not.
you want him?
Are you guys still writing this? Do you need
Yeah,
something to
silence.
erase it?
You wanna do an evaluation, Bobby?
I'm sorry?
You wanna do an
I
evaluation?
need something to eat.
Evaluation? There is no rule.
Who's speaking?
Me. Okay.
You need a room. Let's ask Bob.
She You have enough.
Okay, let's get ready for the second speech, and then you evaluate for the second speech.
Bobby.
Bobby, are you ready?
Okay. Believe it
You
or
will
not.
be evaluating Mr. Elmer.
Okay. Elmer is.
Elmer, the topic is what?
Number 9.
Say it.
Elmer
Oh,
is,
project number 9.
Elmer is doing project number 9, which is Persuade with Power. The objectives are persuade listeners to adapt your viewpoint or ideas, or to take some action. Appeal to the audience interests and use logic and emotion to support the position. Avoid using notes. It's a 5 to 7 minutes. Title of the speech, Believe It or Not.
Okay, believe it or not,
Where is Elmer?
let's welcome Mr. Elmer.
Let me take you back to year 1990. There was a movie shown starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. The movie title was?
Ghost.
Ghost. Fellow Toastmasters and other guests, let me tell you an encounter that I have with this supernatural creature. Let me take you further back, sometime in mid-1980s. I was still in the Philippines, young, energetic, ambitious, and I was hired by a bank. It was the largest commercial bank at the time. It was a state bank. But the thing is, I have to go to a province to work, not on the corporate office. So like a good soldier, I went to my destination, reported to work, and I found out that that town where I will be working on is located in a very remote area. It's not far from Manila, about 100 miles east of Manila, but you have to travel past a mountainous, long, winding road, treacherous road. So you're better off staying in the place where you work. If you have seen the movie Apocalypse Now, that is the location of that film where they shot the movie in the Philippines. When I reported to the bank, I noticed that all of us, or most of us, are transients, meaning they don't live in the area. So I spoke with some of my guys, some of my buddies, if we can just rent a house for ourselves, since we are all transients. And we did. They found us a house, so we moved in. And that house kind of stood out like a sore thumb in the area. Why? Because among the wooden houses within the vicinity, it's the only house that is concrete, big, fenced, and it's maybe about 5 steps higher than the street level. So we moved in, the house is okay, there's running water, bathroom is okay, so everything was perfect, we are set. Few weeks, few months, perfect, no problem, until one night. Our teller, our bank teller, I will name him Raleigh. He's a tall guy, about 6 foot in height, lanky, slim, bearded guy. If he doesn't shave, you would mistake him as a bank robber instead of a bank teller. So everyone was sleeping around 11 p.m. and when we heard this loud noise coming from his room. So we all ran to him and we saw him petrified, his eyes wide open, and he said, "I kicked her! I kicked her!" And then we asked her, "Whom did you kick?" "I kicked this lady, she was trying to grab me." "What lady are you talking about? You're probably dreaming. Go back to sleep." So he decided to go back to sleep. Weeks passed, everything back to normal. And one Friday night, the group decided to have a little party in the house. We bought beers, food, appetizers, invited some friends to come over. In the middle of the drinking party, I decided to retire because I was so tired and sleepy. So I went back to my room. And when I was, I guess, half asleep, in the corner of my eye, I saw a silhouette of a man standing by the door. I was thinking he was one of the guys in the group because he was wearing a cap. But then on the second thought, I remembered there was nobody in the group that's wearing cap. So when I looked back again, he's gone. So what's going on here? So I went back to my group and told them what happened. And they told me, "You're drunk, go back to sleep." So I did. The following week, because it was a Friday night, that Monday morning, it was the topic of our conversation in the bank. And all of us decided, let's just move out. I think the house is haunted. Then someone told us that it was really a haunted house. What we rented. So we have no choice but to move out, look for another place to stay, and we found an apartment right in front of a supermarket. Not a supermarket, but a public market. So there's a lot of activity going on there 24/7. You can hear some noises outside. When you close the window, it'll be quiet. So again, everything seems perfect. We are all sleeping, quiet. And until this Rolly again, this friend of mine, our bank teller, told me, "Hey Elmer, did you hear the footsteps last night?" What? And I told him, "Not again." Fellow Toastmasters, all of us probably don't believe in ghosts. But then, let me ask you this. Why are we afraid of them? Madam Toastmaster.
Wow.
Let's call for the timer report. Jesse?
Okay. Teachers took 7 minutes and 7 seconds. She qualified for time. And Elmer took 6 minutes and 32 seconds. He also
So all
qualified
of them
for time.
qualified.
Yes.
Good.
All right, let's move on.
Yes,
I need to vote too.
You need to ask. Make sure you'll stay up front. If you help,
I
let us
You
know.
need to go from-
Okay, let me get my paper to
I'll
vote.
help you.
Huh?
I'll help you.
yeah, take this. Good.
Oh, there it is.
Why is so funny? I can think of you. Everybody. Oh, okay.
We all ready? It's all done with the voting?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the table topics. And let's bring on Elmer as the table topic master.
All right.
Believe it or not, he's
Believe it or not, I'm back.
Again, did you hear this?
Ghost, get back.
The ghost is back. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I will be your table topic host for today. Yes, and this is table topic. This is the segment where we do impromptu speaking. So I guess everybody know the rules. And the rule is you have to speak between 1 to 2 minutes and use the word of the day, sapient. Okay, so without further ado, let's go on to our questions. All right, for my first question. If there were no rules in your life for one day, and you could be outrageous, what would you do? Roy?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
No rules. Oh man.
Oh
I was ready because I want to know that one.
No rules, that means no grammar. No grammar, no rules.
If there were no rules for a day,
You want to put it?
and therefore I could just do whatever I wanted,
Thank you.
outrageous. And I presume since there's no rules, none of the people that I do these things to would be in a position to criticize.
Yes.
Outrageous. Probably what I would like to do, that I can't do as nearly as much as I really like to do, is I would spend a lot more time telling each person I met how really great they were, how much I really loved them, and how much they were important to me.
That's cute.
Because we don't, and I don't, and there are many times that I want to, and it's not appropriate. And I allow that to hold me back. I can tell Bobby how much I really enjoy listening. Elmer, I'm sorry.
Bobby's there.
Elmer, how much I really enjoy listening to his talks about things that have happened to him in the Philippines. And I would tell Karina how much I really admire the efforts that she's making to move out of a shell, shall we say, and to really grow. Really how much I admire you for your real determination to grow, which is really, really something. And I would tell Beatrice how really impressed I am by someone being willing to just say the things that they feel instead of holding back and being concerned and uptight like the rest of us. So that's what I would do if I were no rules and no one could come back to me with consequences.
Yes.
Good job.
You're still a good boy. You wanted something back.
You know what I think about this? If I'm gonna do one thing in a day without rules and I could do something outrageous,
Let's see.
I would issue a ticket to a police officer who's overspeeding or who's violating traffic rules. Because you see a lot of police officers violating traffic rules, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's my turn to issue them a ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an easy question. Describe yourself in 2 words.
Oh.
Describe yourself in 2 words, Mr. Jesse Alvarado.
Amen.
Describe myself in 2 words.
You need more than 2 words, huh?
Thank you. Describe myself. Okay. Clock is rolling. Oh.
Yes.
Describe myself in 2 words.
Very handsome.
That's one. But definitely, it's I can see myself that I really like to definitely make a difference in people's lives. I see the importance of being a contribution and being someone that cares for other people's lives and be someone that can make a difference in their lives and be a contribution. And sometimes I have conversation with people when they're dealing with different stuff in their lives, and I'm able to talk to them in a way that I can, based on the conversation that we have, I can make a difference in their lives and give them the tools. that I had in the past to improve my life, to give it to them so that way they're able to have a life they love. And another thing about me is I like to have fun. I like to have a great time. I always find places where I can enjoy myself, meet new people, just get to know them, a network, just being a contribution and just making a difference in people's business, people's lives, and I'm sure that in the process they make a difference in my life. So that's how I would describe myself, someone that is out there to make a difference in people's lives, and I'm someone that loves life, wants to enjoy life. Mrs. Toastmaster, oh, this is table topic, and definitely I want to be champion.
It's out.
Karina, you should go like this.
Okay, to sum up, the two words that he wants to use is contribution, fun. Okay,
Karina, you let me down.
the last question.
You only get one chance.
That's right. You see the time is on the clock.
Here's the question.
Question, okay.
What do you think is the biggest challenge to young people today? The biggest challenge to young people today. Okay, let's shoot that question to
He's avoiding eye contact.
Adolfo.
The biggest challenge to young people today. There are a lot of challenges to young people today, I think. But probably, I think the biggest challenge to them is to find themselves. To know who they are. Right? If it is challenge for all of us that are older, the world, the way it is today, it's, to me it looks so weird compared to the way it was for me, that if I put myself in there, it's more complicated, it's more like you don't know where you are or where to grab to. I was able to before grab to myself, to some friends or my family, but today you see that little kids, the majority of them in the States, at least you can see they have no families, and for the friends they have are so weird. So I think it's to find themselves. I would say the capability that they have today is more difficult for them. However, I see there is a group of people there are still a nice amount of people that can help. It's just that unfortunately, because we hear a lot of all these lost kids, and drugs and all these things, they get very popular attention to that, and we don't hear the other side which exists. There are good kids and good families and people helping them and everything, and we need to expand that knowledge, right? So it's not just that crazy kid there or those crazy kids there, but also we need to remember that they are good kids, they are good families, they are good people, or they are good friends, and if we do that, if we remark that, then my theory is that it will get popular. So those kids that are lost and needs help will see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, right? So that they won't get they will get some hope, but a little bit more. They will see that there is action taking place in the world, so they will probably like to participate in that. Mr. Tabletop.
Alright, thank you. Okay.
You did not use it.
Nobody used the word of the day.
We're not getting a break to Jesse.
Okay, well,
Timers report.
timers report, please.
Got it, absolutely. Here, Roy took 2 minutes and 11 seconds. He qualified for time. I took 1 minute and 28 seconds. I qualified for time. And Adolfo took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. He also qualified for time.
Okay, and for the word of the day, who used the word of the day?
None.
No?
Nobody used the word of the day? So we're not voting for the best table topic speaker?
I think we should all just say a sentence using the word.
Alright, so well,
Nobody was
I would like to return the control to our Toastmaster.
Good job.
Sapient tabletop smash he was.
second word.
Sapient tabletop smash he was.
So I guess we are not voting for the table topics, since all three of you failed. None of you are opinion to use the words.
Enough for the tabletop.
That's right.
Okay, what's the next one? It's the evaluator, right? Let's go to the evaluation, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Gonna call?
So we can go to
The gender
have Mr. Voss,
Huh?
Summer.
No,
It's
No.
Roy.
Roy.
Roy, you have to call Roy.
Who's the gender?
He's hosting the
He hosts-
evaluation.
Oh, I'm
program.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Now he's in charge of this
Yes.
segment.
Yes, and Mr. Roy Fisher is the Toastmaster, is the person who's going to introduce the gender evaluator.
Yeah.
So let's have Roy here.
All right, Roy.
Yeah.
All right, go.
A day of new people doing new jobs, it's always exciting.
I just must say, right.
Therefore, I guess my job is to call each of the people's tasks and then call on the evaluator specifically. So let me ask first for the report from the grammarian.
Not yet. Evaluation first.
Evaluations
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, with us.
I'm looking at the, okay, whatever the local procedure is. So we're gonna call on the evaluators first. So our first evaluator is Voss.
All right, boss, come on up.
Thank you.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Vasula. Semara Cindy.
Attention getter. Wow, that was an attention getter, wasn't it? When she asked everyone to what? The most embarrassing moment, and I raised my hand. She said, "Well, you're going to share, right?" I didn't know if I was supposed to share, but you know, I do have a short story. I was a pole vaulter in college. When I'm on a road trip with some guy, pole vaulter, you know the long sticks, you go run fast and jump over a crossbar, right? At the end of the pole, it's called the plug. It's called the butt plug. So my friends and I are on a destination track meet. We go to the store, and I asked the guy, "Do you guys sell butt plugs?" Everybody looks at me. So the attention was good. Now, as far as transition, you had good transition from story to story. You started with different stories, and you took a deep breath to transition from one to the other. So I was able to follow along with the different stories because it is embarrassing moments with an S. So that's her topic. And also, there's a lot of natural stops that you did make, and better. The delivery techniques were really good, and I like the way you speak. Now you've polished yourself a lot compared to before, where your tones are up and down. I'm sure you noticed that as well. Before, it was really one tone. This and this and this. Now you're up and down. It's really easy to understand because now we can really relate. You're really speaking to people here. Another thing is that and you looked, a few things that I want to talk to you about was you looked up a few times, and now, as you said, it's okay in the U.S. to look at people when you speak to them, right? It's not something bad. So instead of looking up, I think it's better to scan the room and talk to each individual person. I think that was one topic. And the conclusion, the conclusion was good, but what I would do is I would work on a brief, because the speech asked for a brief conclusion, not a lengthy one where you kept going on and on about the last individual tattoo guy. So overall, it was a wonderful speech, and I enjoyed it as much as everyone else did. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, very good. And our second evaluator is,
Adolfo?
Bobby can
No,
say.
Bobby, Bobby.
you're doing the next evaluation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
Bobby.
come on, Bobby.
Believe it or not. Oh, what a intriguing title. The objective of Elmer's speech is to persuade. Persuade with power. One thing that I can tell you about his speech is, number one, he is very engaging as far as his story is concerned. You know, everybody was observing each one of us and see how we are reacting to his stories, and I think everybody was lending ear to his story. Very engaging. Elmer also has very good use of his hand gestures, and he even used the stage, you know, address the audience right here, and look at the audience right here. So the overall visual part is very good. Now, anytime we talk of ghosts, that's always something for me very interesting topic. Okay. Now, what I would like to see in a speech, a persuasive speech, is at the beginning you have to really emphasize your point. What is your point? Your point, I think Elmer's message here is that you guys have to believe that there are ghosts, that they exist. So for the opening, I would really strongly suggest that ask the audience, how many of you believe in ghosts? You know, maybe the outcome would be everybody would raise their hands, or maybe some may not raise their hands. If only few raise hands, then you can say, let me change your mind right here. Let me make a believer out of this story. If everybody raise their hands, then you can say, let me tell you why it is really true. Okay? So you try to enforce that belief. Okay. So the next thing that you might want to do in this speech is throw in a little research about what has been studied about ghosts. Because you want to study, you want to present yourself as a credible speaker. So you want to tell them, hey, I know about this subject. This is that's what's been researched, and so on and so forth. And then dive into your personal story. Now in your personal story, then you can provide more details. Describe the setting, the town, why it's so eerie, maybe something like that. And then continue with your story. You did good facial expression, but I would like to make it really, really exaggerated, you know, from your face, from your voice, so that we can discern the fear and surprise. But overall, Elmer, you always are an enjoyable speaker to listen to, and I look forward to your next speech. Thank you.
All right, now, time to vote, I presume, on our evaluators. And same time with the board.
We need to do time management report, right?
The Tamers report.
Jesse.
Yes. Okay, timer's report. Voss took 2 minutes and 19 seconds. He qualified for time. And Bobby took 3 minutes and 9 seconds. He also qualified for time.
Great, all right. And how many used?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What?
Jesse attempted to.
Yeah,
but the company got shot down.
So now
Don't even
vote.
think about it.
Now it's voting
So now
time.
we're voting?
Okay.
For the evaluator.
Yeah.
Were you for evaluator?
yeah.
Try to time it.
I know it. Yeah.
And while we're finishing up with that, I am the awe counter. For Beatrice, I counted 2 awes. For Elmer, I didn't catch anything.
Not listening.
That's quite possible. That's quite possible. Jesse,
scared of ghosts.
Jesse used several times used the same phrase again. So, like, make a decision, or actually make a difference.
Oh,
Make a
yes,
difference.
please.
Okay.
So,
Make a difference.
Adolfo used several you knows.
How many do you know?
Wait, they're not listening.
She lost count.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost count.
Karina is kind of behind the things because she's kind of out here doing something new and a little disorganized, which is where we really find ourselves making these mistakes. So it's always a pleasure to be doing things for the first time, so I really didn't even bother counting. Boss, and 2 you knows and 2 ums. And Bobby was very, very professional as always.
You were not listening again.
You can listen to people who made an effort to learn to speak, and especially when you listen to someone who American English, even if English is a native language, if American English is your second language, it's very noticeable when they can speak clearly, distinctly, and their words just flow. So that's really a strength. So that's my counter report. Let's see, what do we got here next?
That's it, Bob.
That's it.
Your evaluation of the meeting.
Meeting
Evaluation of meeting.
good and bad.
A couple of quick things. It was a good meeting. It was good to me because everybody's stretching and reaching in and doing new things. That to me is like the most rewarding thing about coming to something like this. If you come to something and everything's really polished, then you really need to get out and polish some more. But in this case, we're all learning, so it's great. The only thing that I would comment on is that when you're going to be a speaker, after having been asked to speak several times at different formal organizations, that kind of thing, it's really important to prepare a short 50-word or less bio or introduction for whoever is going to introduce you. It can be your subject. It should be your subject. It should be who you are, why it's important that you get whatever you choose, but whatever you want the introducer to be giving it to you. And also, if you're at many organizations, the Toastmaster will not be the one introducing you. It will be the equivalent of what we have as an evaluator here. So you should always be prepared to have your evaluator come to the stage, make your introduction, or stand aside. If you're going to group this size, you may have your person introducing you, might not. But if you've got 50 people in the room, your introducer is going to come to the stage first. So think ahead to times when you're using these things for business presentations, teaching opportunities, learning opportunities. So that's my only comments for the meeting. And we've had a lot of fun. That's the really good part. Okay. I guess return control to the Toastmaster.
Yeah, that's the next topic.
We're done then.
That's you.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring up the.
Return control to you.
So we have covered all the topics today, the table topics, the speakers of the day, and the evaluations. Is there anything that you guys want to bring up to talk about before I invite our president back on the stage? Any comments, any suggestions, any?
We talked about ghosts and rubbers or rubber ghosts. That's Howard.
Okay, let's invite our Mr. President back on the stage.
All right, let's do it. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love your energy, your
Eraser.
enthusiasm.
Eraser.
Yes.
No rubbers.
And don't put that on YouTube.
Oh.
This is gonna have too much more.
When I heard you
That's how it
talk,
goes.
You're gonna say, what is this club doing?
Look at
What
these
kind
notes
of
I have
speeches
to
are
give
they
them.
having? Yes, sir.
May I add something that I probably should add if you're interested?
Can you please stand?
I had a friend years ago who, well, not that many years ago, who was an immigrant from England. And he was being interviewed after having arrived here to get his green card. And he was telling me about it. He said, it was the oddest thing. I said, really? What was odd? He said, well, I went in and there was this very attractive young lady who was conducting the interview. And she was reading me these questions, which I really didn't understand. And I said, yes. And she didn't seem to understand my answers. I said, yes. And he said, well, for instance, she was reading through and she said, sex? And he said, I don't mind if we do. True story.
Absolutely.
I got it.
See if we choose what you do with your speeches, you generate
That kind of mindset.
Very
some
safe.
special moments here.
I know, I'm getting none of notes.
Even Boss had to include his on your evaluation. But some kind of plug. However,
It opened up doors.
In any
let's
language.
let's continue with our agenda. We're gonna present our winners for today. We have a speaker and evaluator, and we're gonna present the best speaker in our club. And this person always knocks it out of the park. Who would that be? I know it's more than one. But let's go, Elmer Dinoso! Yay! All right, for the camera, here we go.
To the ghost.
Absolutely, good job.
You go.
wait, hold it.
There's a little delay on the,
I know, the paparazzi.
Say cheese.
all right, good job. Let's give it up for Elmer. Absolutely, we have great evaluators. And also they do a great job at doing the evaluation. And for that, let's go the best evaluator for this afternoon. And who would that be?
I wonder.
Aha! This is the best part. Let's bring Bobby Dinoso! Hey!
Consejo.
Something about you guys. Who got married? Here, Bobby Consejo!
That's me.
Some of you guys gotta be brothers.
You know, guys?
For me, you guys are brothers. And it's been twice already.
Most embarrassing moment.
You should be in speech number 5.
See, he don't even want the ribbon no more.
Okay, say rubber.
Eraser.
Hey, you know, it's amazing. I don't know
Why he wasn't going up?
Yeah, because you know.
I don't know where I get them mixed up. But you know what I noticed?
They do look like twins.
You know they're from the Philippines.
Yeah, we all look the same.
Maybe that's why. You know what? When I say that, look at Bobby, it looked like someone gave him a blow. He wouldn't get up, like couldn't breathe. Like that's not my last name.
This girl.
You have a very imaginative.
I guess not.
What's happening?
We cannot invite guests to this.
I didn't even go there. see what we do?
Ay, ay, ay.
I guess we still need to grow.
Wow.
And now let's go to any comments, any remarks, anything for the membership.
I want to comment to. This is a very important piece of news for the club.
Okay.
We've been formed when we started at City of Industry in FKC. We belong to the Founders District
Yeah.
because of the location.
Founders District.
Founders District was our district.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is we recently received an email that because we are right east of the 57 freeway, 57 is right here. We from starting in June, and Bobby is curious about it. Starting in June, we belong to District 12.
12.
Yes,
What's the
because of
So
that.
what's District 12?
The District 12 means that we have a new world now, different of all the leaders that we have from Toastmasters.
so we have different, so there's no more Peterlin?
Exactly,
Oh, so no crowd.
exactly.
I thought you said you
And
covered
we
this
we're
area.
gonna have we're gonna be introduced to new people, new leaders that we're gonna have,
Okay.
and of course we have to including that changes a lot, but still we're the same. Still we're the same, and we know that Bobby won't leave us alone here. He will visit us here and of course we will continue and we will get new people getting here to meet. We probably will be invited and we will invite them here to come. So that it's going to be a new experience, and we're kind of starting fresh and new. We can think of it that way.
Alright.
We will meet a lot of new people now that we're going to be interacting with. Okay.
So why did they have to do that?
Because of the location we are. They want the clubs to be regionally close to each other. For example, the lace activities that we had in Cerritos, I think it was. So,
No,
La Mirada is one location. There was another location too.
And Orange.
Now they're gonna be pretty much on this area, on the east area.
Palm Springs.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of the meetings occur,
So
some of the
there'll
major
be
contests
air
occur in some of these hotels. Yeah. So we will learn more and more as time goes by. All right. Now another thing is, if anybody wants to do a speech, I know Karina wants to do a speech next week. So let me know if anybody wants to do a speech. I know Jesse's been itching to make a speech, so maybe. He wants to do.
I feel like this.
Okay, so let me know if you want to make a speech.
What a day. Tell me, please. You gonna share something?
Oh, well, membership dues, those who hasn't paid yet, please pay.
That's for the club.
Money.
Oh, this is $12.
This is what I like to.
So far we only have 10 members?
I have the list.
Yeah, the list says.
Don't forget, here, let me show you what I have here. This is the members that are completed with the membership and the $12 to the club. These are so I need to have questions about. I know Bobby just paid $2. So Bobby is paid in full. I'm not sure where you at. Can you check on this? The ones I highlighted, just go by those.
Karina's paying.
The $12, okay.
No, I pay 48.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, 36 plus 12.
Okay. Then this one here,
No, oh, 12.
okay, that's you. Okay, and
Beatrice, did you pay
Oh,
$12?
I have to pay, so, yeah, I owe you.
so it's incomplete. So
I'm paid up,
wait a
right?
minute. Okay, so that's pretty
I'll just
good.
give you cash.
So, yeah,
And then $1.04.
yeah, we'll work on that. Okay, perfect. Anything else?
Anything?
Okay, we're gonna close our meeting, and I have a couple of comments here.
I hope it cannot be cheap.
From, well, let's not go there. One of the things I noticed here in the club is, even though we're having a lot of fun and we don't have no gas, new people that are kind of maybe sizing us and watching our behaviors. However, we also want to make sure we do what we're supposed to be doing. For instance, you understand the rules or make it a habit. I know we're all learning. For instance, not like walking away and leaving the lecture here alone. That's not what we do. So I know when we're here, we get a little nervous. about different things, about the role. But just know that, take your time, even myself, just take your time, relax here, and there's no rush to do anything. Just take your time and remember that always you have control here, and if you need help, request help from any one of us, and we assist you in regards to anything that you need. That way because the thing is, we want to build proper habits when we're here. And the habit would be doing that kind of thing, because when we have guests, we want to show them how the professionalism of the Toastmasters International. We're going to developing, but also we want to make sure we build those good habits as a club. That's one. Now, also another thing that I see the importance of having proper introduction when we introduce anyone else. I know sometimes not a whole lot comes to mind to say, but just take that moment to say a couple of words in a comfortable way, in a good manner, to address that person, rather than just look scrambled and foggy in the process.
Can I suggest one thing?
Yes.
The moment we see the agenda and we know who's our evaluator, maybe we can just send them an email about a little about us.
Oh, that's what Roy
So-
said.
or
Roy just
Send
said,
an
write
email to
something
the
up.
Toastmaster to introduce the speaker. So,
Or you can give it to them like in the
Just like
beginning
Roy
of the
said,
meeting.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just prepare a little introduction for yourself and give it to the Toastmaster. Because the
Toastmaster,
Toastmaster
okay.
introduced the speaker. The
Right.
evaluator, all the evaluator do
Yeah,
is
just to-
describe the speech project that the speaker is doing. That's all he
right.
does.
It's not the
That makes
evaluator who.
No.
No, the Toastmaster introduced the speaker.
Yeah.
One of the things you might each
Yeah.
consider
Mhm.
is we're all in different kinds of businesses. My business, at this point, I don't go out and get introduced in front of groups for what I do, but in other roles I have. When I was involved with the Lions Club, when I was a director for the YMCA, that kind of thing. You might want to just carry with you a 3x5 card. Make up a 3x5 card introduction for different roles. For instance, if you anticipate occasionally being introduced at a leader of a men's group through your church or something else, have something that you want to be introduced that way. If you are going to be working with a volunteer organization, what is it you want to have people introduce you at? If you're going to be going to Toastmasters, to another club, somebody's going to introduce you. It's nice if you have something to just give the people. And I need to do that. I don't have that for myself right now, but because one of my goals for this year is to start doing more of that kind of thing, I am going to get those set up for myself. I used to have them. They're very helpful. I carried them with me all the time. When I found myself saying, hey, would you mind saying a few words about us? Great, who's going to introduce me? Well, I'll introduce you. Well, here you go, here's my intro.
A good idea.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yes, sir.
Let me just add also that in the advanced speech manuals, one of them is the specialty speeches.
Mhm.
Project number 5 actually introduces
Just
the
a
speaker.
Okay.
So you will be evaluated based on how you perform as a Toastmaster during that meeting. So, and your assignment really are those 3 parts. In the opening, you have to capture the audience attention and emphasize the importance of the speaker. That's the opening. The body, you should address why this speaker, why this subject, why this audience, why at this time. Okay, that will be part of your speech. And the closing, the conclusion would be the actual presentation of the speaker. That's when you call the speaker itself. So those are the 3 main parts of that. The specialty speeches.
Oh.
So we really need to bear in mind to those 3 things, you know. Again, opening, that should capture the audience. So it's just like a mini speech, okay? Capture the audience, and then tell why the speaker is qualified or something like that. And the speaker should help you with that, you know, especially with 3x5. Why the speaker, why the subject, you know, to establish credibility, and why this audience, or why at this time. So there's, so when you give that kind of introduction, you know, short about it.
So when you write up your thing that you're going to do a speech, the average person talks at what speed?
Steve?
At what speed does the average person talk? 120 words a minute.
Yeah,
So
this is-
that means if you write out a 50 or 60 word introduction, it's a half a minute introduction. And you can cover all three topics on it.
Yeah, so even the point, okay, go ahead.
No, just wanted to comment on your comments
Yes.
about keeping our habits correctly in the club, because what happened is that the way it happens, really, the way it occurs for everybody is that, and I have seen some clubs, you know, in YouTube, you can see that they have a more relaxed environment, and it's not good. It's not good because the whole thing it's start not working. And the way it happens, the way it occurs is that if we let that happen here, what happens is that very slowly we go to that. No, it doesn't happen, but it start going here, and start leaving the lecture alone, we forget the flag, pretty soon we lost it, you see. So errors will always happen, right? Errors will, and we are learning, and that's the thing, but it's to keep us, that's why your comments I think are very valuable, because we want to keep up that level.
Back on track.
So that, Karina, when you bring a guest, you want to have a good impression, right, with the person. Or I bring a guest, I want to be impressed with the
But
club.
more importantly, when you leave Toastmasters, these skills are money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are skills that you'll use even if it's within your own company, it's skills that are going to, when you're asked to do a presentation of something,
Yeah.
you want to be able to do an effective professional job,
Yes.
because that's the next promotion.
One thing we do is we raise the hand and then the next person talk. No. Yes, very politely, right? So in a way, a person talking,
Yeah,
and those are
that's
details
right.
that are extremely important.
Yeah.
Extremely important that we do that. The person talks and the person finishes and the next person talks. And, you know, we can have fun while we do this, right?
So,
That's it. And now, but one more thing I wanted to say is if we do this, then we keep that level, then we are set, because that's precisely what we're here for. We're not here for your speech. Remember, it's leadership skills also. What we're talking about, public speaking and leadership skills, and that's why it's valuable what you just said, Roy. That when we leave this place, this is money. It becomes not just a speech, but also the leader.
one thing just makes sense, one thing to make clear. You
Yes.
said- To be clear, you say when anyone, let's say I'm here and saying something and someone wants to make a comment, what is the proper way to that person make that request?
Yes. Whenever we talk to the Toastmaster or the president, we refer to the person as the Toastmaster. If it's the table topics master or
You
Toastmaster,
stand,
we
you
don't
stand,
say the
right?
name of the person. We say Toastmaster.
But you are sitting
You
down,
stand or
right?
We can go like this. We can go like, but when you start talking, you rise up, right? You stand up and start talking. When you finish, you sit down. That's it. What you do.
In a small,
Then
in a small group, it's very easy to be very casual as well. When you get into a larger group, the reason why we practice with a small group is when you get into a large group and there's 50 people at a meeting, every change of speech goes through the person who has the podium. But that person that has the podium doesn't normally have the right to take it away from whoever it is who's standing. So he gets to finish. When he sits down, then the person's called on. Think of it, you can monopolize the time. You're filibustering. That's what we have in Washington all the time. Once someone has the floor, they've got the floor. It belongs to them. But the person who is at the stadium, or at the stage, the lectern in this case, is the person who really has control and everything should be directed to.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
It's hard in a small group, it's sure important in a big one.
Yes. Russ.
So I guess in that sense, in the same topic, I guess we need to stop our peanut gallery comments as well.
Right.
Because again, when we have guests,
What
you know, I don't want,
What's
like
that?
if we're talking, I just jokingly throw something out like rubber or a ghost. But I mean, I guess that's not being professional either. then.
It depends on the subject, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about just anything. Like, if somebody's talking, we kind of blurt out things in the audience. I guess we need to stop that
He's
also.
talking something else.
Well,
He's talking
maybe,
about the rules of
Oh,
yeah,
Toastmaster.
I think
That's different.
my opinion is we also want to have a little fun, so I don't see really a
That
big
breaks
thing,
the
just
ice.
kinda,
No, it does, I like it.
Yeah, I
Two hundred and fifty people, the rules.
It's different.
Yeah.
Karina, control.
okay, one conversation at a time, please. Karina, you have a request, can you please
No, I was
stand?
just making comments on what his comment is. I think it's good. I mean, to see from one perspective is when we talk about our goals and rubber.
Yeah.
I think in a way it's good that because it's, in a way it's telling us that the speaker is able to involve the audience and
Oh,
instruct.
okay.
That's how I
That's-
see
that's
it.
good.
But that's how I see it.
No, I think you're right.
Yes, I
But
think,
then again, it's to, of course, that's always to a certain limit,
yes,
not to go, but
yeah, we want to have some fun, I
No,
don't
but
think at
I
the
think
same
we are
time.
talking about two different things here.
I think in a way
You're
it's two
talking
different
about the usual Toastmaster etiquette.
Correct,
That is
yes,
how
Right.
we design
to
from the
present the
beginning to
meaning.
end.
Okay.
That's what
Correct,
he's
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
He's not talking about frivolous.
yeah, no, I think we got a little fun, we just, okay,
Yeah,
within the
because
limits.
that breaks the ice, that helps people
Yeah.
who are tense to,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of relax.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have some fun too,
Yeah,
yes,
so
of course,
that's important.
yes, yes, we've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And one more thing, just before we kind of for your personal development, it's, I noticed today, you were here up front and we were laughing and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff,
Yeah.
but then nevertheless, enjoy the time being here, what's happening, but you gotta have control of yourself. You were leaning here, going like this, you know. I think it's still, no matter what it is, you still wanna conduct, when you're presenting your business,
Correct.
you wanna be able to hold yourself as a professional, even though you're having fun. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the comments, suggestions, but we still have to be conscious about our time.
Yes, absolutely, okay. Yes, that's another
This
thing,
meeting.
absolutely, let's finish it up, so, with that being said, meeting is adjourned.